Porsche just slotting into place there. And Nager and Walton Sport Porsche, in they go. Green flag has been waved. On go the red lights, up go the engine notes, off go the lights and off go the field, and it's not a good start from the 16 car. Chris Payne, as you'd expect from that Caterham, has just screamed through and found the impossible gap into the lead in that Caterham Supersport, and he's now looking to try and keep that Golf behind him, but the number 16 car sadly just bogged down. Sam Gay, Colin Tester just went nowhere fast. He's down to 4th place now because it's the other Honda of Higginson's number 83 that has got himself up ahead of them as they go down through the Craner curves towards the old hairpin. As we have a look at that, we've got a couple of rolls of the dice going on a little bit further back the field, but thankfully all cleanly through they go. And we look into the distance now, and it is Chris Payne still in the lead, but he's got the dark side Golf all over the back of him. And that being Scott Parkin at the wheel of that one on his own by the sounds of it for this race for whatever reasons. And he's already trying to make a move, but you've then got the all red with the yellow writing, Mark and Matt Higginson, Honda Civic Type R number 83 is trying to stay with them, and it looks like the 16 car of Sam Gay, Colin Tester is already now starting to move back towards them as they come towards us, and it looks like the Golf's making a lunge on Chris Payne already. Yep, he's through, so up goes the Dark Side Motorsport number 16 Volkswagen Golf. Scott Parkin into the lead and already pulling away, but the Higginsons are also trying to make a move on that Caterham, heading down, being forced towards the outside. And and he's now trying to come back over that car very low in his mirrors. Chris Payne must feel absolutely ganged up on as he's like half the height of the cars around him, and I was a bit worried that he wouldn't see that the Caterham was still there, but thankfully he did. The number 16 car of Gay and Testis, they're also loitering well and truly with intent, but trying to just keep himself out of trouble a bit too much. In fact, that car's now having a lunge down at Old Hairpin, a late lunge on the Higginsons as they went through Old Hairpin. Now, I think he just about bailed out of it at enough time. Let's have a look. Yes, he did. He's still there trying to contest that one. Up into 5th went the 71 BMW of John Line. In fact, it looks like he's already pulling away from that gag or trying to close into the lead cars as they make their way around Coppice. Well, Chris Payne is no longer under pressure. It was almost as if he got a great start, then it was suddenly all a bit loose and cold for him. Now he's got it warmed up and he's trying to close in on that Golf again. Side by side for the two Hondas behind. The white one's got the inside line as they come down towards Roberts. No, he's not been able to get himself enough alongside, so he tucks himself back in behind the number 83 Higginson's car and sits there still in 4th place. Small gap before we get to 71 John Line, and Alf Hyde, number 172, the Clio's got a good run on the straight. Now he looks towards the inside of the BMW. The nimble Renault Clio surely going to be able to break later. Yes, he is. Alf Hyde jumps up ahead of John Line. They are both Class B cars as well, albeit that some of the other 4 ahead of them, but it was still a class fight legitimately with each other. But John Line has a good start. Small gap, and we've then got another BMW, the 21 BMW of Russell Danzy and Jack Wood. That being the white one with the sort of blue and grey flashes. Into the pits, sadly, has come the 88 car of John Cooper, the Ford Fiesta. So the Group D car is not feeling comfortable with something. Hopefully they'll be able to get that one sorted. And looking off into the distance, Chris Payne has been able to reel in. He was the fastest lap of the race last time round, but our leader Parkin got the purple sector 1 momentarily, although actually Alf Hyde 172 got that. They're trading blows, 42.535, 42.531 for Chris Payne, so they're almost neck and neck in terms of their times, which I'm sure is going to be shown in terms of their overall lap times. Those two have broken away from the rest of the field. Let's have a look. 120.325 for Parkin, 120.515 for Chris Payne. So he lost a small amount of ground there, but not an awful lot. We saw that Alf Hyde in the 172 Renault Clio, when he got past John Line, well, he's already close, and the Civic Type R, so Gay and Tester chasing down Higginson. And that Renault Clio is kind of staying with them. John Line's dropped away now into the clutches of the other BMW of Danzy and Wood, car number 21. So a pair of BMWs there. So Golf versus Caterham, Civic Type R versus Integra versus Renault Clio, BMW versus BMW. I mean, it's absolutely brilliant. In fact, just behind them, by the looks of it, that is the number 12 car. Where did that 12 car start? Ben Johansson and Scott Thompson, the Renault Clio, started in 9th, so that's now in 8th position. It's only the one place made up, but it is closing in on the group ahead of it, so could be involved. Now Chris Payne's got a great Robert chicane by the looks of that, because he's glued to the back of the number 13 Scott Parking across the line. That gap was suddenly down to 0.191. Don't need to worry about times, you can see it. Is he going to break a little bit late around the outside of the Golf? Not quite able to do it, and that big Golf stayed on the apex. Now Alf Hyde has suddenly jumped up into 3rd place ahead of the Higginsons and the Gay and Tester Integra, so I'm not sure how he managed to pull that one off. That was a brilliant move out of my eye shot, sadly. That puts him up into 3rd place in Class B, so he's going to be pleased with that. The 21 BMW of Danzy and Wood is leading Class C. Let's have a look at the other class leaders. Class D being led by 38 Glover and Wright. Class G, obviously that's a guest one, but it's still a class, being led by Jono. Now the lead 2 are in the same, still in the same order. It is Parkin just ahead of Payne. Parkin's always a pain, but they're round Coppice onto the exhibition straight. Now that Caterham, is it going to have a lunge? Let me see if I can flick the camera view I have up here. Oh, a very defensive line from Parkin there, possibly a late lunge, because the Caterham tried to find a way to stay on the inside, suddenly jinked to the his left-hand side, and taking the sweeping line. Hasn't worked brilliantly from there. He's still there. Big gap before we get to 172 Alf Hyde, ahead of the Higginsons and then the Integra of Gay and Tester. The 2 BMWs of John Line and the 21 Danzy and Wood glued together, even though one's a B, one's a C. Oh, and in fact the Danzy and Wood car's up the inside. 21 makes the move, and is he going to be able to make that one stick? It looks like he should be able to. In fact, I need to update my notes, because I didn't have that was a Class C car, the number 21. Let me just check. In fact, it had nothing, so I can put that is a Class C car, and it's important because it's leading the way in that Class C fight. Leaders still glued together. 37.5 minutes left to go. In towards Coppice, they make their way for the 6th time. And another strong Coppice. That's really where he seems to, Chris Payne really makes this count. He's now being forced towards the outside. Parkin's making sure that he's defending that inside line as they come down towards it. Doesn't need to anymore, so comes back towards his left-hand side of the circuit to take the sweeping line through Robert's chicane. So he's still holding off that Caterham Supersport. 172 Alf Hyde in 3rd place. Oh, looking up the inside goes the Caterham. He's found the inside gap in towards Redgate, and he's up into the lead. But is he going to wash wide? Yes is the answer. Very wide. Just gets his stop before he gets towards the gravel. So through goes the Golf again. Number 13 Scott Parkin back into the lead. It's as if there was no issue, Your Honour. But as I say, Class C 21 Danzy and Wood past the other BMW of John Line, but John Line is a Class B BMW. What of last year's champions, the 44 car, that's running in 16th place. It started in 11th, so it's lost a few in the opening few laps here, but it's not a problem, and Jordan's going to take that over a little while as well. Dynamics change for a lot of these cars, don't forget, when we get to the second half of this race. But in fairness, Ray won the championship on his own last year, so we know he's got the talent to win here. Just keep my eye down towards Robert chicane we go. The lead 2 are going to stay Golf in front of Caterham. Renault Clio of Alf Hyde in 3rd place. Honda Civic Type R of the Higginsons in 4th. 5th is the Gay and Tester number 16 Integra. Gap before we get to the 21 Class C BMW of Danzy and Wood. John Line under growing pressure by the looks of it by the number 12 Renault Clio. of Ben Johansson, Scott Thompson. And in fact, just behind them is the BMW, the 85 Pete Jokinen, Team Hearing Dogs BMW Mini. Oh, I'm just watching a couple of challenges coming into Roberts chicane further down this field. Leaders up the Schwantz curve in towards McLean. Still Scott Parkin leading the way in that number 13 car. In fact, Chris Payne looks like he's almost sort of taken a small breather this time. He's not lost complete touch, but he's certainly not in striking distance as he went through that section. We know he's strong through Coppice and then takes that speed onto the exhibition straight, but there's no need for a defensive line by the leader, Scott Parkin, this time. He's just sitting on the outside line, take the racing line through the Roberts chicane, which means he's going to have that maximum speed onto the Wheatcroft straight as they come through to complete the 8th lap. 45. Chris Payne trying desperately. Now, don't forget, we have this pit stop that could change the dynamic completely. Those two aren't changing drivers, but my point being is they've still got to come in. They could get held up by other cars in the pits. Where's the Gay and Tester car? We've lost it. Here it is. The Integra is into the pits. Pit window is not open, so that's got an issue. Does this stem from whatever caused that car to be slow off of the start? Let's have a look. What's the body language of that car and everyone around it? Are they expected to be able to get that sorted? They open the doors, have a chat with the driver, find out what the issue is. Is it something that they can get sorted and get it back out again? Keep half an eye on that one. That's a shame. Darren Goes moved up 2 places last time round. Up into 18th place goes the number 22 car. We seem to have lost that last time round. Oh no, it is about to come through, but the 170 Ford Focus of Holmes and Lewis lost 6 places that last time round, so they must have had a moment somewhere. They lost about 16 seconds last time round, but thankfully couldn't spot the damage. Off into the gravel just in front of them, actually, in a big cloud of, I think, just dust. I was making sure there's not smoke there as well, and it is an all-white Lübeck Renault Clio, all-white. Through the gravel, so don't suppose we're going to suddenly get the marshals pushing that one out of there, as much as they've obviously got to run to it to see whether they can to start with, but I think that would be optimistic. Parkin, our leader, suddenly put a new fastest lap of the race, 119.977, but in fairness, kind of going with him, Chris Payne also put in a 120.118 best, personal best, so. And hence, when we look into the distance, that Caterham is still glued to the back of that Golf, no matter what Parkin does. It must just be like wandering through a forest with an annoying wasp following after you. There's no way of getting rid of it. And in fact, all of a sudden, Parkin's kicked up the dust. He's run wide on the Coppice second apex area, which has that compromise enough. Yes, up the inside is now going to go Chris Payne. He needs to be careful. And in fact, he's not managed. He's lost out. Oh, and they're now trying to get past one of the back markers that I don't think was really aware. And in fact, that back marker's basically barged Chris Payne off there, sadly, because I don't think he saw the little Caterham as he came through the Roberts chicane. That will frustrate him massively, because he was still glued and about to make a lunge on Parkin, and he's now lost all that ground and is sort of in the clutches of Alf Hyde. That was really unfortunate. The 46 car, Boothroyd and Pensaval, just did not see that Caterham, because of course it was tucked the other side of the Golf as they were going up the inside of the BMW. Then he tucked behind, and I don't think the BMW then saw that the Caterham was still there, and sort of pushed him towards the outside as they exited the Roberts chicane. 32 into the pit, so an issue with that one. By the way, the Gay and Tester car, bonnet up, still not gone out of the pits. Well done to the amazing Orange Army. They have managed to push that Renault 68 car out of the pits. Now, actually, I better check to make sure that I was guessing gone tumbling down through the order. Now, our lonely leader, the Golf, now is shaking off the attentions of that Caterham for now. It's always the challenges. We always want these bumper grids, but it does pose all sorts of issues for the drivers as they're trying to pick their way through. Chris Payne just needs to shake that off now. It is what it is, but he's about to be challenged by Alf Hyde. The Clio's now diving up the inside. That is for second in Class B. So suddenly, from challenging for the lead, Chris Payne, well, there's a little bit of damage from the contact as he was barged towards the outside of the corner, has unsettled that car sufficiently. Wow, thank you, Paul Jurd. You're down at Redgate yourself, mate, and it was 68, so I thought it was the Jeannot, so I did guess right, but I didn't know for definite. Thank you, mate. Pit window is now open. Got 29.5 minutes left to go. Into the pits now with that pit window open becomes last year's champion, Ray Honeybone, the Apple Class Centre car. In it comes number 44, lovely Renault Clio. He's just trying to work out where does he need to stop. And in fact, I think he's caught the team out because nobody's gone run into his car. No Jordan Honeybone, and he's going back out. In fact, Jordan's down the bottom, so not where they were in the qualifying. Jordan's now there, about to jump in that car. So they changed their positions of where they were compared to qualifying. Ray went where they were this morning, and no one else was there. But thankfully, only lost him a few moments, and he's got that back together again. Into the pits has come our leader, the 13, Scott Parkin. I thought he was about to turn in towards retirement. No driver change here, and Chris Payne is in as well. So the purple Caterham has decided now's the right time. Oh, frustrated flick of the visor up there. Doesn't look like there's any damage, so I think it may have been a pseudo bump off that he knew, although there's just sort of playing around with the steering wheel as though he's not fully comfortable with the handling of that car. Shake of the head, cutting through the traffic, did not work to his advantage by any stretch of the imagination, but good news. Johansson Thompson car, that was up fighting in the sort of high numbers there. On my way, he says. Don't panic, mate, you got plenty of time. Still got just under 27 minutes left to go in this race. Depends how quick you walk, of course, Paul Jurd. But that's interesting. Right, so out is going Scott Parkin, and Chris Payne is not very far behind him in the pit lane, so he's going to be looking to now absolutely boot it. Mind you, look, Parkin now is booting it before Chris Payne. That's going to be killing him. Now he can get the pedal down and pulls off to the onto the circuit, round Redgate. He's stuck behind two back markers. This has not worked out well for him at all, as the Golf is in clear air. Pure luck there, who make it sound like some kind of Formula One tactics going on there, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles. And he's now got to just get himself through those back markers as quick as he possibly can. Alf Hyde, 172, crosses the line. 14 laps completed. Remember, we need to just sort of let these pit stops wash out first of all to understand what's going on where. There goes the 21 BMW is flashing his lights up the inside of big lock up there as he's trying to throw it as quick as possible up past the back marker. John Lyne's gone with him as well in the 71 BMW. Those two have been at it for a while. Black and white warning flag goes out for the number 8 car, and that is the Wrights. He says, desperately trying not to say the Wright brothers. George and Jack Wright in their Porsche 944. Into the pits comes the 37 car. Will Jackson Moore and Andrew Piquet. Also in has come John Lyne, the 71 BMW, so he's left the The 21 BMW, Russell, Danzy and Jack Wood on their own for a little while now. Here comes the earlier leader, and you'd assume he's going to retake it at some point, of Scott Parker, number 13, across the line. Now, let's have a look. Where is it showing parking? 23rd, and just behind him, that 83 Honda that's legitimately that close to the 13. Chris Payne has lost out. I said it looked bad where he came out, and it has. He's only just going into Redgate now, so the Caterham has really come unstuck with the Lapri this time round. At what point are we going to see the 172 Renault Clio Alf Hyde come in? Not yet, as he came screaming out onto the start-finish straight that time round. Just shook his tail feathers as he exited the Roberts chicane, but kept it enough under control. Round Redgate he goes again. Second behind him is the 21 Danzy and Wood BMW that is now making its way in. So here we go, this BMW, the Class C leading car, beautifully prepared by the looks of that car, in to make its pit stop and driver change. So up ahead of them goes the blue number 8 Porsche of the Wrights, up into second, yet to make the pit stop. 46 coming into the pits as well, the E30 BMW, immaculate condition that for such a classic car. Through has gone parking, number 13. The Higginsons still not that far behind it. Chris Payne, a lot of work to do. Such a shame robbed us of that fight that we were enjoying. I don't suppose Scott Parkin's particularly bothered. So, just under 22 minutes left to go in this 45-minute race. So amazingly, despite everything that's happened, we are only a little bit past the 1 hour mark already. So, shows they're going great guns. The right Porsche number 8 just coming down towards us, in towards the Roberts chicane, putting a lap on the red Z BMW. That one being the 101 Jamie Jeffrey version. Jamie being the son. Julian's out there as well, his dad. Through comes the 13 parking. What sort of lap times are we getting from him? Comparable enough. It sounded a bit quiet as he went through them, but it's no issue. Dowsett and McGee, the 36 BMW that was running in third place, now comes into the pits as well. Thank you, Paul Jerd. He's reported that the 16 Integra had a throttle cable fail, so that's what put pay to the Colin Tester and Sam Gay car. Ooh, nearly knocked my coffee over then. But they run that one. So Hyde is in, sorry I missed that, is that in down below me there is Alf Hyde, the erstwhile race leader. So it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen when he goes out. Through goes the number 8, the Wrights Porsche, that's still going. But here comes 13. Is that really still up to speed? Because that does not sound like he's pushing it, and yet it's only a second off its pace. It just sounds like it's taking it steady as he comes down the start-finish straight. The Higginsons on the Civic Type R is not able to close. Chris Payne coming down, trying to get past one of the back. Is that a back marker that Chris Payne's going past? It is. But that wasn't an easy pass on the clear there, but he's got it done. But you'll see that it's a big gap for those of you who stood on the exit of Redgate before that pink number 45. I call it pink. Should I call it salmon? I don't know. The shirt is salmon, not pink. But So we've still got just under 19 minutes left to go. So Hyde is still there. Just must be taking an eternity there, desperately trying to get that car out. Where is the Golf? The Golf's now coming onto the start-finish straight. The number 8 Porsche is in. Here comes the Golf, is about to come through. Surely that means it's back into the lead. There goes the Higginsons. There we go, Alf Hyde is now making his way down. That just felt like he's lost a lot of time there, interestingly. Now maybe that time was lost before he actually did the pit stop, but he's about to go out. He is going to be ahead of the number 12 car of Johansson and Thompson. Didn't clock whether it is ahead. I think it's behind the Jockenon 85 car. So we need to now let this sort of wash itself through just to make sure we understand who is where, because of course some of them will have come in the pits and then crossed the line whilst stationary to then stop in the pits further down the pit lane. Now that they're all out on the circuit, we've got to assume that it's still going to be Scott Parker, number 13, that's going to be in the lead. Through Robert Chicane he comes, and it's going to confirm that that car is indeed back into the lead. Well, on the timing, yes, it still shows the 8th car because that's stopped past the timing line in the pits, just. Higginson's number 83 in second place. Up into third goes Chris Payne. What have we got? There's the 85 Mini crossing the line now. So the white Mini making its way down towards Redgate. That's actually sat now in 4th position. There's Alf Hyde in 5th. They're all Class B cars, but then it'll be the 12 car of Johansson and Thompson that's leading Class C ahead of 4 Roberts, and then the Danzy and Wood 21. So Danzy and Wood didn't come out of that with what they wanted. They went from leading Class to 3rd in Class C as it stands at the moment in that Beamer. Into the pits with what appears to be a problem for the 170. It said that it had gone missing and then it's got moving, but clearly a bit of an issue for that Ford Focus, sadly. Leader comes through to complete 20 laps, about to get to 2/3 race distance. Through goes the Higginsons, there goes Chris Payne. The Mini of Jockenon about to come down and complete 20 laps as well, so that is the 4th place Mini. Alf Hyde, number 172 in 5th, the white Clio with the green writing on it. Then there's the number 12 car, Johansson and Thompson, the blue and white Renault Clio. Well, that was a very slow lap for the 21 BMW, so I hope that's not too much of an issue. The number 4 car that's kind of come into this fray really from nowhere. Where was that? Number 4. Matthew Eldridge and Justin Roberts started down in 19th. That's the red, black and white Honda Civic Type R. That is now sat 7th on the road, and that makes it 2nd in Class C. So the Johansson blue and white number 12 Renault Clio is leading Class C, ahead of number 4 the Civic Type R. The red, black and white Type R, and then that BMW is going to be desperate to try and close him back in. Oh, Paul George, you're walking's quick then, mate. Now you've got to cool down and get your breath back. Pit window is closed, but no issue because everybody has done it. Sadly, the 170 Focus, they're still chatting in the door. An issue with that car. And they're just being manually shown a black and white warning flag there. There goes the red and white. So heading in towards Redgate now, the blue and white number 12 car is the leader of Class C. The red, white and black car just behind it going through there, that is second in Class C. Then the BMW, the number 21 car, Danzy and Wood, that's just exiting Redgate, that's third in Class C. So Danzy and Wood are a little bit further away than we'd expect them to be after leading that class for a good while, but I'm not sure. That looks interesting between the front two. In fact, that was about a quarter of a second quicker from the number 4 Roberts Civic Type R. The red, white and black car trying to reel in the number 12 Renault Clio, the Pro-Am Racing Renault Clio, Ben Johansson and Scott Thompson. Parkin goes through again. That was 2 seconds off of his best time. He's picking his way through traffic, but clearly just from the engine notes, it sounds like he's taking it easy. Higginson's in the red Civic Type R, picking his way through a gaggle of back markers there through Redgate in second, with Chris Payne bringing up the rear in the podium paying positions for Class B. Jokinen 85 in fourth, fifth Alf Hyde. What of this Class C battle? Through goes the number 12 car. The gap last time, has it come down? No, it's gone out by about a quarter of a second, so they're on that proverbial piece of elastic back and forth with each other. Oh, great fight going on here. The number 44, Jordan Honeybone, he's got himself up into 10th place now, so he's just managed to make a move past the 18 Starkey. I was trying to see where Starkey was that time round, but Ray Honeybone, that puts them 7th in Class B. It seems really competitive Class B at the moment, doesn't it? But across the line to complete the 23rd lap with just over 11 and a half minutes left to go. Goes Scott Parkin, the number 13 dark red and black Volkswagen Golf. Now Chris Payne looked closer there. Yeah, that's a big close-in. That pink Caterham, you can see, is a lot closer to the red with the yellow writing Higginson's Civic Type R, number 83, and that was largely down to the Higginsons lost about 5 seconds or 4 1/4 seconds on that last lap, while Chris Payne was able to cut through the traffic like a hot knife through butter, or a hot butter through knife, as I've said many a time in the past. But are we going to see Payne manage to reel in and make a challenge to move another step higher, back to where he was? Remember, he was running second on the road as well as on class, but he's had to settle after the pit stops and the lappery that did not go in his favour, and settle back in 3rd place at the moment. Round Coppice he goes, following the Higginson's Clio. Here comes our leader for the 24th time. Definitely sounds like he's taking that. Here comes our leader for the 24th time. Definitely sounds like he's taking that easy. He's not overstressing that engine at all in that Golf. It isn't screaming. He's out for a Sunday drive. It just happens to be the quickest Sunday driver that I've ever seen. But through goes Higginson's in second, number 83. Chris Payne, number 45. That time round he took another half a second out of him, and in fact the Higginsons are about to encounter 3 back markers having their own fight. Now you've got to assume that the one that's going to be more fearful of that is the little Caterham, that we've seen the challenge it has with not necessarily being quite so clear in people's mirrors as the big Honda Civic Type R that's going to appear there. That's going to be a bit more obvious. Hyde 172 has got past the Mini, so Jokinen's dropped down to 5th place. Up into 4th goes Alf Hyde, already making their way toward Hollywood they go. So you can see that Alf Hyde just seemed to be in the pits for quite a lot longer than I was expecting him. And looking up to that lead battle, Payne's now on the back of that gaggle of back markers as they make their way towards Coppice. Is he going to get through easily enough? He has, so he's suddenly right with the Higginson's Civic that did struggle to get through there. On to the exhibition straight, as our leader's already on to the Wheatcroft straight. Scott Parkin completes the 25th lap, but what of this tussle for second place? Payne is glued to the back of the Civic Type R as they come onto the start-finish straight. Jink round the Porsche at the back of the grid, the Nago and Walton Spool. Now, in fairness, the Higginsons know that that's coming, don't they? Because they've suddenly gone very defensive there. Chris Payne, he thought of looking up the inside, but I think he's just trying to psych out and exhaust the Higginsons now by saying, that's fine, I'm not going to dive up the inside just yet. We've got another couple of back markers they're going to encounter as they make their way down through the crane of curves. Are we going to see a lunge there? Oh, we've got a car being recovered from further down there. I was not aware of that one. That's sort of crabbing through the sand there. That's the number 17 car that went off into the gravel there. So that's the Byrne. Is that the Fiesta, I think, isn't it? Let me just double check. Yeah, the Ford Fiesta of Paul Byrne. Just under 8 minutes left to go. That means that I wasn't able to see whether we had a challenge for that second place. Well, not yet, because and they've just had a back marker split the two of them apart again. Chris Payne's just lost out ever so slightly going through Coppice. The problem is it's not like they can suddenly disappear. They make their way towards us. Oh, still glued together. So Chris Payne may have thought that he'd lost out a little bit to the with the yellow Fiesta, but it hasn't caused any great issues as he makes his way down toward Redgate again. Whoa, Chris Payne did have a sneaky snifter towards the inside going at Redgate there, but I think that was more a psychological move than a physical move, because he was never going to be able to pull anything off quite yet as he went down to there, but it was worth a try, because all of a sudden it means that, and again, if I change the camera view, because down at Old Hairpin, no, he just keeps himself tucked in as it stands at the moment. Up the Schwantz curve they go towards the right-hander of McLean's. Is he going to have a good lunge in towards Coppice? This is the 27th time round, 6.5 minutes left to go. Our leader's already about to come onto the start-finish straight to complete his 27th lap. Here comes Scott Parkin, number 13. Are they side by side? Oh, I'm on the wrong camera then, aren't I? We are going side by side. I think it's a slight optical illusion, but he is throwing there, and he's thrown it up there. We couldn't tell how far alongside he was, but he has managed to throw it up the inside as they got towards Roberts. Great job up into second, but Higginson's got the run all the way down. He's trying to find a gap. The gap is not very big to the right. Oh, he just kept himself off the grass, and Higginson's diving back up the inside. Do-si-do your partner. And suddenly the Civic, is he going to wash out? He is, but not too much. He's able to keep the power down. And so suddenly Chris Payne has to sit there back in that third place, trying to come back at him all over again. As we flick down to Old Hairpin, are we going to see a lunge down at that section? Got 5.5 minutes still left to go of these two having this bruising encounter. It hasn't come off for him just yet, so we wait and have a look. Through the crane of curves, they got a back marker in front of them. I think that's possibly Julian Jeffrey out there in the Z BMW. And wait to see them rising back in the distance. Oh, they're still trying to get past the Z. Chris Payne's been compromised a little bit there, and he's on the inside. Oh, goodness me, the BMW just kind of swept across in front of him to some extent there, making their way, and that suddenly split them back out again. I think that nobody, if anybody interviews Chris Payne, do not ask him about back markers. Whatever you do, you'll end up in all sorts of strife. But across goes the leader. Well, we've got 3.5 minutes left to go. Scott Parkin in the 120s now. Can't see that we're going to have a challenge this time around. No, as I say, there's a fair old gap there, because sadly Chris Payne just got compromised through McLean's as he'd gone towards the inside. But I'm not sure whether the number 15 BMW of Jeffrey actually saw him there. And we've got somebody off in a gravel up at McLean's, I can just make out. And it's the BMW E30, and thankfully he's got himself out of that and able to carry on, so no problem there. That'll be the number 46 car of Boothroyd and Pensaval. Where is this fight? And we've got somebody off on the exit of Coppice as well, another white car, but this time it's a Clio. Is it the 68 car again? Now, that should get going again, because it's only just on the grass and curb, unless it's a problem that's caused it to spin on the exit there. But we'll have to wait and see. I think that's the 68 car again, but apologies, I could be wrong. Leader in the middle of a gaggle of back markers through the Roberts chicane. Next target for him is going to be Darren Goes, number 22. Yeah, it is the 68 car, and it's still stationary there, so there's clearly an issue with that 68 car, that he's not able to get that one going again. And the bad news is that could be a premature end for this race, because there's no point throwing the safety car out now. Not going to go well. If they do, we'll be finishing under the safety car. But that's very unusual. It's completely side on the exit of Coppice. The Orange Army have run out to see if they can move it, but it doesn't look like they're going to be able to do anything, which suggests it's stuck fast. Now, I missed the fight going through for that second and third between Higginson's and Payne, so I'm sort of looking into the distance to be able to see them rise back up the hill. Leader's already making his way towards Coppice. We've got 1 minute 20 to go. There's the second and third. It's quite a gap still. It was only half a second when they came across the line last time, but it looks like the Higginsons have probably done just about enough to separate themselves out. So the checkered flag is out, so 13 Scott Parkin takes the victory. Second is number 83, the Higginsons. Third place, Chris Payne in the number 45.